The Miami Dolphins have finally stopped the cycle of dysfunction and found their answer at head coach. But the real story isn't just the name on the door. It is the massive shift in philosophy that just saved this franchise. We are looking at the 15th head coach in team history, but for the first time in forever, it actually feels like we have a plan that makes sense. If you want to stay ahead of every breaking update and deep dive into this new era of Dolphins football, do me a massive favor right now. Smash that like button, share this video with your fellow fans, and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a beat. Let's be real for a second. The headline is that Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley is the new man in charge in Miami. But if you are just looking at the headline, you are missing the bigger picture. The Dolphins didn't just hire a coach, they secured a partnership. The organization moved with lightning speed today because they were terrified of losing him to another team, and they got the deal done. Why? Because this reunites Hafley with his former colleague from Green Bay, our new General Manager, John-Eric Sullivan. This is the key, guys. For years, we have been screaming from the rooftops about the disconnect in this building. We never truly had that lockstep vision between the front office and the sideline during the Grier and Mike McDaniel era. You have to remember, Grier was the survivor of multiple regimes. He was essentially arranged into a marriage with McDaniel. They tried to make it work, they said the right things in press conferences, but when push came to shove, the roster construction and the coaching philosophy were never perfectly in sync. That ends today. With John-Eric Sullivan running the front office and Jeff Hafley wearing the headset, we finally have two guys who view roster building through the exact same lens. They don't believe in winning the offseason with splashy headlines. They believe in the grind. They value drafting, developing, and promoting their own talent. They want to build a core from the inside out rather than throwing cash at expensive free agents who may or may not fit the culture. Sure, big trades can happen, and splash signings are fun, but you have to earn the right to make those moves by having a solid foundation. Miami is finally going to build that foundation properly with Hafley and Sullivan at the helm. But let's get into the man of the hour. Who exactly is Jeff Hafley? If you haven't been tracking his career, let me paint the picture for you. He is 46 years old, a Jersey native who has absolutely ground his way up the coaching ladder. He didn't start with a silver spoon. He started coaching Division III football back in 2001. He worked the hard yards at places like Albany in the Northeast. He has been in the pressure cooker of college football as a coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He has sat in the big chair as the head coach for Boston College. He has NFL assistant experience with the San Francisco 49ers, and for the last 2 years, since 2024, he has been orchestrating the defense for the Green Bay Packers. Now, I can already hear the keyboards clacking. I know some of you are nervous. You see first-time NFL head coach, and you get flashbacks. You see his record at Boston College, and you feel underwhelming. I get it. He had 2 seasons above .500, one at .500, and one rough 3-9 season. But we have to apply context here. Boston College is where coaching careers go to die. It is an incredibly difficult place to win. Need proof? Look at Bill O'Brien. The guy was a successful NFL head coach with the Texans, winning division titles in the 2010s. Since taking over for Hafley in 2024, O'Brien is sitting at something horrific like 9 wins and 20 losses. If a proven NFL winner can't win at BC, I am certainly not going to hold it against Hafley. That program lacks the nil funding and resources to compete, yet Hafley kept them respectable. And here is the reality check for anyone doubting his credentials. The NFL was fighting over this guy. This wasn't a situation where Miami settled for the only guy left. Hafley was highly coveted. He had multiple requests for second interviews. He was a finalist for the Tennessee Titans. The Las Vegas Raiders wanted him back in the building. The Arizona Cardinals wanted a second look. When half the league views a guy as a legitimate leader of men, shouldn't that tell us something about his quality? He has been a stellar defensive coordinator, keeping Green Bay in the top half of the league defensively for 2 straight years. Look, I will be honest with you. Was Jeff Hafley my absolute number 1 choice? No. I have been open with you guys. He was sitting at number 4 on my wish list. But I am not going to sit here and pretend this is a disaster just because he wasn't my first pick. I think a lot of the fan base is spiraling and overreacting right now. I am choosing to be an optimist. We have watched some truly questionable coaching over the last 5 years, and I genuinely believe Hafley can be an upgrade. Is it a guarantee? Absolutely not. There are no guarantees in this league. But there is zero reason to be a pessimist right out of the gate. He has a strong NFL pedigree. He has deep connections. And now the biggest variable is seeing who he brings in to fill out his staff. But I want to hear from you guys because this fan base is the pulse of the team. So here is the question of the day. In just one single word, what is your gut reaction to the hiring of Jeff Hafley as the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins? Drop that one word in the comments right now. For me, the word is solid. It isn't flashy. It isn't going to break the internet, but it is solid. When you look at the sheer volume of teams that vetted him, interviewed him, and wanted him back, I have to trust the process. I am not going to try to big brain this and act like I know more than the people running 6 different NFL franchises. Do NFL teams make mistakes? Yes. Do we sometimes have better instincts than GMs? Sure. But when Las Vegas, Arizona, Tennessee, and Miami are all circling the same candidate, it is impossible to argue that he isn't a legitimate head coaching prospect. And frankly, I can't stand the narrative floating around that this is just nepotism. People are saying he only got the job because he is buddies with John-Eric Sullivan. That is total nonsense. These guys didn't grow up together. They didn't develop a working relationship until the last 2 years in Green Bay. I don't even know if they are friends in the traditional sense. I assume they respect each other immensely, or Sullivan wouldn't have put his neck on the line to hire him. But the idea that this is just a hire your buddy situation is ridiculous. Hafley has a 20-year track record of excellence across college and the pros. We should be celebrating the fact that we hired John-Eric Sullivan because without him, we probably don't land Hafley. Sullivan gave us the inside track to one of the most valued candidates in the entire 2026 hiring cycle. Today marks a new dawn for the Miami Dolphins organization. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I can't tell you that Miami is 1,000% going to be better with Hafley and Sullivan than they were with the last regime. Predicting the future in the NFL is a fool's errand. But let me ask you this. Even if you hate this hire, can it really get any worse? We haven't won a playoff game in a quarter of a century. 25 years. So, who cares if it's a risk? Anything is better than the stagnation we have endured. Under the previous leadership, specifically with Grier, we consistently whiffed on draft picks. We took massive, desperate swings in free agency that crippled our cap. Worst of all, we let homegrown talent walk out the door. Think about the pain of watching guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, Robert Hunt, Brandon Jones, and Deshaun Elliott leave. We drafted them, we developed them, and then we let them succeed somewhere else. That stops now. If Hafley and Sullivan hit on a draft pick, that player is staying in aqua and orange. Their entire philosophy is built on creating a culture. You do that by drafting well, developing those players, and extending them. You are not going to see blockbuster trades unless we are one piece away from a ring. You aren't going to see us winning the off-season championship with crazy signings. You are going to see a team built the right way. It isn't flashy, but look around the league. That is how the dynasties are built. John-Eric Sullivan has preached this, and Jeff Hafley has been saying it for years. Go back to when he took the Boston College job. He said his vision was to bring guys in, keep them for 5 years, and let them grow into the scheme. He believes in the power of the team over the power of the individual. When your GM and head coach are locked in on that specific vision, your chance of success skyrockets. I am not promising a Super Bowl in 5 years. That would be irresponsible. But I will tell you this. I think Miami is in an infinitely better spot today than they were 365 days ago with Grier and McDaniel. We finally have alignment. Now, we just have to see if Sullivan can walk the walk, and if Hafley can manage the game on Sundays. We know he can coach a defense. But can he manage the clock? Can he get the locker room fired up when things go wrong? He sounds confident in front of the media. He sounds like a leader, but the proof will be on the field. So, be the teacher for me right now. I gave this hire a B-. I think it is a solid, sensible double, not a home run. But I want to know your grade. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the hiring of Jeff Hafley in the comments section. As we wrap this up, there is one massive question looming over this franchise. We have the head coach, but who are the coordinators? Who is running the offense? Who is running the defense? I have some intel and some names you need to keep an eye on over the next 48 hours. On the defensive side, there is a name from his Boston College days that is slipping my mind, but rumors are swirling. However, Anthony Weaver is a very interesting name. Weaver and Hafley worked together in Cleveland back in 2015. Then you have DeMarcus Covington, the defensive line coach from Green Bay. He has experience as a DC under Jared Mayo in 2024. Keep an eye on Matthew Era, the current Dolphins quarterback coach. He has actually been requested for a defensive coordinator interview with the Eagles, which shows his versatility. And don't sleep on Dante Jones, the defensive backs coach in Minnesota. No direct connection, but he is a rising star. On the offensive side, the connections are fascinating. Bobby Slowik is the big one. He was the pass game specialist and consultant for Miami this past year. But remember, he and Hafley were together in San Francisco from 2016 to 2018. Slowik was the offensive coordinator in Houston for 2 years and got elite play out of C.J. Stroud. Could he stay in Miami and take the reins? It is possible, though the Eagles want to interview him too. Then there is Steve Shimko, the Cowboys quarterback coach. He has a history with Hafley. And a sleeper name, Sean Mannion. The former NFL quarterback is a young, rising coach in Green Bay. He could potentially get his big break here. These are just the early names, but the coaching staff is going to make or break this tenure. We are going to be tracking every rumor, every interview, and every hiring right here on this channel. The search isn't over just because we have a head coach. In many ways, it is just beginning. We have had you covered through this entire exhausting search process, and we are going to be here for every step of the offseason. If you want the truth, the rumors, and the analysis without the fluff, you know what to do. Subscribe today, and let's get ready for a new era of Miami Dolphins football.